that dream again, sweetheart?
Yeah.
I think you've been reading too much Speed Savage, Back to bed. Good night.
When I think of Crocus, I think of Lazarus' left hand. We were inseparable from the day we met, closer than brothers. Our so-called cultural differences were irrelevant to us, particularly because we had so much in common. And if I had to point to one thing that bound us together more tightly than anything else, it was the fact that neither one of us had a father.
It isn't fair.
It's not like it's our fault.
What's not your fault?
They won't let us enter the Walleye Derby.
Well, why not? We dropped those registration forms off in plenty of time.
They say it's a father and son ice fishing derby. And we're not eligible.
That's ridiculous. You know, they can't go excluding boys just because they don't have fathers.
Moses, I think you and I ought to take a little drive on over to Tiger Lily and straighten this foolishness out right now.
I think you're right.
Don't bother.
Ben, it's just someone being thick-headed, and Moses and I are gonna fix it.
We don't want to fish in their stupid derby anyways.
Just hold on here, boys. Now, both of you were really looking forward to this, weren't you?
I can't say I blame them. No fun in going where you're not wanted.
All right. Then I figure we ought to order another round of pops, and we'll talk this over.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Molly, I don't think I've told you how proud I am of the way you are running this place. You are doing a wonderful job. You know, it just goes to show you that there is nothing in this world that a woman can't do every bit as good as a man.
Dad, are you all right?
Of course I'm all right. No, actually, I'm not. I am offended. I am mad. I am infuriated. I am sick in the craw at the injustice in this world.
Oh, no. Did the Liberals raise taxes again?
I am not talking about politics. I am talking about something bigger, something much more important. I am talking about the fishing derby.
The fishing derby?
Yeah. Dear Mr. Gatenby, we regret to inform you that you and your daughter are not eligible to enter the first annual South Saskatchewan Father and Son Walleye Ice Fishing Derby. The nerve of them!
Nerve of them?
I knew you'd feel the same way. That's why I think that we should march right over to Tiger Lily and...
Dad.
Oh, you're right. There is no point in stirring up trouble. We can do this quietly. We can put your hair up under a hat, put one of my big sweaters on you, and call you Marty. Yeah, that's good, Marty.
Not on your life.
How about Murray?
Quit while you're behind, Dad. I have work to do.
The best bait I ever used was a dog.
Jay, you made me get plop up my nose.
You use dog for bait? What kind of dog?
Short-tailed dachshund. I'd rig him up in this little harness I made for him, cast him out, and reel him on in.
Wait a minute. Dachshunds don't have short tails.
Well, Stubby did.
Stubby?
Well, he started out with a regular tail. He just had a little trouble trying to outswim a hungry pike one time.
Who needs that fishing derby anyways? Jake, why don't you and I take the boys out? I know a spot for walleye north of here. We can pitch a tent in winter camp.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, that'd be great.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm not mad, Dad. Okay, I am mad. It's just because you're being such a hypocrite.
What do you mean? I'd do the same thing if it was a father and son quilting bee. Okay, a bad example. A father and son cribbage tournament. You like crib.
Honesty, Dad. Honesty is the best policy. You taught me that. Why doesn't it apply to you?
All I wanted to do was enter the fishing derby.
Fishing? Pretty foolish to go fishing now, Gate.
Who asked you?
Well, it's just that anyone with a thimble full of business sense will want to take advantage of all the traffic coming through town. Now, think of all the supplies there are to sell. Fishing hooks and licenses, bait, food, camping supplies, and, oh, those little, dangly things.
Albert, thank you. You just did something I've been trying to do for years. You finished a conversation without letting him get the last word.
Anytime, Molly. My pleasure.
You gonna pay for that?
Oh, yuck. Pickled eggs. Grown-ups like the most awful foods.
Peel. You all finished packing yet?
Yeah, I had to do it a few times to make sure I got everything I needed.
You boys are going to have a great time.
Yeah. Ma, I know our trip's gonna be fun and everything, but I'm still mad about the fishing derby.
You know what? I'm mad about it too.
It's hard not having a dad.
I know. Come on, Ben, dance with me. It's one of my favorites.
A guy doesn't dance with his ma. Ma.
You look like you've been up half the night.
Well, I was. One of the cows has mastitis. Old Ginger.
How's the swelling?
Well, it's better, but she's gonna have to be milked in a half hour or so.
I'll give her a hot compress as well. Morning, Ben.
You ready to go, kid? Because Moses and Lazarus will be here any minute.
Better eat a big breakfast today, Ben. It'll be your last home-cooked meal till you get back.
I never thought, Julia, this will be the first time you've been alone since Ben was born, won't it?
It's only one night. I'll be fine.
Oh, yes, you can always come with us. I could probably round up another tent.
No, this is a guy's trip.
Yes, it is. You're quite right, Ben. I'll be fine, Jake. But thank you.
There you go.
Business is pretty brisk, eh, Henry?
Plenty of fried egg sandwiches and coffee to go. You selling lots of gas?
Yeah.
Makes me wish I'd jacked the price up by a dime a gallon today instead of a nickel.
Oh, well, there's always next year, Albert.
True enough.
I mean, I don't mean to sound petty, but you'd think that after all I've done for her, the girl could see her way clear to do this one itty-bitty thing for the old man. But no. The way she's acting now, you'd think I was a criminal.
Instead of a pig-headed old fool, huh?
Old? You are calling me old?
Well, state of mind, Jake.
I mean, look at the facts. I raised her myself. I gave her just about everything she ever wanted. I even bought her the store, for crying out loud.
Well, I, for one, am with you on this, Kate. Children should respect their elders and show their gratitude. That's the way I was raised. That's the way it should be.
Albert, did anybody ever tell you that you were like a bad haircut? You flip any which way the wind blows you.
Well, I think it does seem a tad inconsiderate of Molly, just a tad. What do you think, Henry?
At the risk of sounding too radical, did you ever think of just coming right out and asking Molly to go fishing with you?
Henry, there are some things that you just do not understand.
There's no sharks in Saskatchewan.
There sure are, Laz. Tell them, Mose.
Absolutely. So you gotta understand that the whole of North America is just one big waterway. Oceans filled by rivers, rivers connected to lakes, lakes fed by streams.
Yeah, and every now and again, especially after a winter with a heavy snowfall that's followed by a spring with plenty of rain, a big old shark will get himself lost somewhere down around the Gulf of Mexico. Well, maybe after one of those hurricanes has tossed him around for a while.
That's right. Hurricane makes him good and dizzy, see? And the next thing you know, that old shark has taken a left where he should have gone right. And then he's cruising his way north, up the Mississippi, past New Orleans, Memphis, St. Louis, then right through Iowa and Indiana, and then on into Minnesota.
See, once he gets to Minnesota, it's just a short swim up to the Souris River and practically into our own backyard. Now, of course, by this time, he's mighty hungry. It's a tough swim that far upstream, even for a shark.
Which makes a guy want to be awfully careful about taking a midsummer dip in the Souris River. That's for sure.
But I've been in the Souris. You took me there swimming there just 2 summers ago, Jake. And you didn't even tell me about their sharks being in the waters.
Oh, I didn't want to scare you, kid. But you better know that I was right there keeping out a sharp eye for that big dorsal fin breaking the surface.
Wait a minute. Sharks are saltwater fish.
Yeah. How could a shark survive that long in fresh water?
Good question. All right, now let's hit the road. We got plenty of miles ahead of us. Call that a knot, Moses?
Think you can do any better?
Step aside, I'll show you a little trick I used in the Merchant Marine. Start with an open loop, a wrap, hold and wrap, suck it through. Bingo. Okay, now you half hitch. Bring that down. Take your other loop right here. Bang, we got her right there. Half hitch. Another half hitch turns into a clove hitch. And that's a knot.
How you doing, Ginger, huh? Is that swelling coming down? I have something that'll make you feel a lot better. Oh. Well, we've got the whole night in front of us. Just peace and quiet and nothing and no one to bother us. Nothing to do. Isn't that great? Huh? Hey, girl. Great.
A pajama party.
Yeah, I thought with Ben away and Gregor searching his book.
You don't have to convince me, Julia. There is nothing I would rather do than spend the night away from my dad.
That bad, huh?
You just tell me what time you want me to come over and what I should bring.
You come anytime, and you let me worry about the dinner. Come to think of it, maybe we'll skip it all together and just gorge on cookies and popcorn.
Sounds great.
Come on, boys, let's get that gear.
What gear?
Only the tent and food, as far as I can tell.
Only. You and your special knots, Trumper.
Well,
just don't tell me one of those stories about your days in the Merchant Marines. That's all I ask.
What are we gonna do now?
Well, we could always go back and look for it.
No, could be anywhere by now, including in the back of someone else's truck.
He's right, boys, and I'm real sorry about this. We're gonna have to go home.
No, we'll stay. These woods have everything we need.
This time of year with snow on the ground, we can't have these boys bunking down in a lean-to.
My people have always been in harmony with nature. Our deeper knowledge will help us survive. Come, spirits will lead me.
Moses, let's be realistic about this. There will be other weekends.
Wow.
Deeper knowledge, eh?
Sure. This place used to belong to Thomas Swift here. Bet you didn't know that.
Look, we can even cook the fish we catch.
And I'll personally do the cooking and the cleaning. It's the least I can do.
Well, come on, let's go fishing.
Let's go. I told you we should have brought Stubby.
I still can't believe it. Dad's done a lot of crazy things, but suggesting I dress up like a boy? Did your father ever do anything like that?
Not even close. Far too much British reserve, you know. But my mother, now that's another story altogether.
You hardly ever talk about her.
We don't get along as well as I'd like.
I know what that's all about.
No, it's nothing like with you and Gate. You fight all the time, but you always forgive each other.
Of course, we're family.
I don't think you realize how unusual that attitude is. My mother still hasn't forgiven me for not marrying into the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons when I had the chance.
You and a doctor? You never told me.
Oh, Mother had it all planned. A big garden wedding and society dinners, weekends in Muskoka with all the rest of the wives, all very prim and privileged.
And what was he like?
The good doctor? A pompous twit. The second time we went out, he looked at me and he said, "The dress is perfect, Julia, but don't you think that's a bit too much lipstick for this time of day?"
Oh, I'd have been tempted to smack him.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute.
What a way for a self-respecting fish to end his days.
Just needs a little lemon is all.
What are we gonna do now?
Well, what do you say I tell you a ghost story? I ever tell you boys the legend of the haunted saddle?
I better get some firewood for this one.
Well, let's see. His name was John Fisk. And he was an acquaintance of a friend of a friend of a friend of mine. John Fisk was a bad man, convicted murderer. He was hanged the night of a full moon at the Stampede grounds in Calgary, right around the turn of the century.
Who'd he kill?
Another cowboy. See, there was a disagreement. Fisk roped that other cowboy around the neck, took a couple raps on that saddle horn, and galloped away and just kept dragging that poor fella behind him until his head come clean off.
Yeah.
Oh, yuck. What about the haunted saddle?
Just hold on, I'm getting to that. Now, Fisk had no family to speak of, so after he was hanged, this friend of my friend's friend, he had the pick of what meager personal belongings Fisk had. You know what he picked? He picked John Fisk's favorite hand-tooled saddle, and that was the mistake. Seeing that this fella was the owner and operator of a livery stable, he had occasion to lend that saddle out. And whenever he did, the rider that used it was suddenly cursed.
What do you mean, cursed?
Well, every man that sat in that saddle got his neck broke by the ghost of John Fisk. What was that?
Trumper. Trumper, I'm coming for ya.
It's Fisk. It's John Fisk!
You got us good.
Whose bed is it now?
It's Gates.
Why don't you sit down, Gate? Sit down and take a load off.
Yeah, making my feet sore just looking at you.
I can't. I'm not staying. I will bet a quarter.
I've been saying that ever since you turned up. And that was over an hour ago.
I know, but this is my last hand. Unless I lose.
Has he lost one yet?
Yeah? Well, works for Gate.
I'll take two. Molly? The store's been robbed.
Huh? What? Robbed? What did they steal?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but they definitely took some stuff, some canned goods, I know that, and maybe an axe.
Money?
Well, they didn't open the till. I must have come back just before they got to it.
Well, that's lucky, darn lucky. Have you called Molly yet?
I can't call Molly. She left me in charge.
What about the Mounties?
Oh, not yet.
Oh, you never took the money, eh?
No, not a penny.
Well, you know what they say. A criminal always returns to the scene of the crime, especially when he ain't finished the job.
You're right, Daddy. Absolutely right. Boys, there's only one thing to do.
There is?
Yes, sir. We gotta move the poker game over to the store in case they come back.
Right.
Somebody help Daddy out. Bring the cards.
Disgusting. Give me another one. So, let's get to the serious stuff. What are you going to wear to the Crocus Snowball?
I don't know. Nothing special.
Nothing special? Crocus's biggest social event of the year, and your very first dance with Greg?
Come on, Julia. It's not that big a deal.
I know you too well, Molly. If you say something like that, it means it's a very big deal.
Well, it's just... The thing is, Julia, haven't you ever noticed that, I've never actually danced at the dances?
The last time I was at a dance, you were still refusing to wear a dress, let alone dance with a boy.
Of course. I'm sorry, you haven't gone since Daniel died.
But I'm going this year.
Good. You can watch me hold up the wall.
Well, what about Greg? Is he a good dancer?
I've been afraid to ask.
Well, the dance isn't for a couple of weeks, so that gives us plenty of time.
Time for what?
Lessons.
No.
Yes. Mademoiselle.
Okay. You asked for it.
And no. And one.
Rat root tea. It's good for whatever ails you.
This was a good idea, Moses. It's not hard to see how much it means to the boys.
You know, today reminded me of the time my father took me up into the Porcupine Hills. I must have been 5 or 6.
Yeah, it must have been just before he enlisted.
You know, it's strange. I have a hard time remembering his face, but I'll never forget his great big laugh.
And here you are all these years later going fishing with his grandson.
And you, with a boy who has the same relationship that you had with my father.
I reckon it's the old wheel again.
Didn't Daniel say that?
Wheel comes full circle.
Yeah, that's right.
I think about it every spring, and those new green shoots just burst through the surface looking for the first light.
Yeah. Real poetic, Jake.
Well, I'm keeping you up, am I?
Not for much longer.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Quarter. Everybody in? Read him and we pull out. I win again.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Yeah, we want to lure him back in, not scare him away for good. Yeah. Whose deal? Yours. Good. Ante up.
You're not really scared of this guy, are you? He's just a character from a comic book.
Dad?
Watch this. Come here. Get out of here. Go on, shoot.
I wasn't doing nothing. I'm just trying to have some fun with the kid, that's all.
You heard me. Get going.
Thanks.
Oh, you don't have to thank me. It's your dream. So you couldn't enter the Walleye Derby, eh? You feeling pretty bad about that?
Yeah,
It was real nice of Jake and Moses to bring you boys up here.
sure it was, but it doesn't change things. It's really hard not having you.
It's hard for me, too. That green guy been hanging around a lot lately?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, if he shows up again, you just do what I did.
I don't know if I can.
Sure you can. You're a brave boy.
Well, I don't like to admit it, but sometimes I get pretty scared.
Everybody does. You know, a very wise man told me something once. He said, you never know how courageous you can be until you admit how afraid you are.
Who told you that?
Jake.
You know, sitting here like this talking, it's kind of like fishing. I mean, when you're fishing, mostly you just sit and talk.
That's always the part I like the best.
Well, walleye for breakfast, I take it.
Only if I'm cooking them.
Huh. Here we are on day 2 of the first annual and only ever Sons Without Fathers and Men Without Sons Walleye Ice Fishing Derby.
Where the men without sons are gonna whip the boys without fathers. Fight him, Ben, fight him. Don't lose him, don't lose him. Look at the size of that guy.
Holy moly.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
How'd you make out, Dad?
Oh, well, yeah, you know,
What's wrong, Henry?
Someone broke in last night and helped himself to a midnight snack.
No.
It happened when we were all busy guarding the store.
Guarding the store?
From being robbed.
From being robbed again, actually.
What do you mean again? Dad, how could you let this happen? I mean, how am I supposed to tell what got stolen from what simply got consumed by your poker game?
Calm down, calm down. I made an inventory of the stolen merchandise. I know what got took. An axe, a blanket, apples, a can of blackstrap molasses, canned fruit, pork and beans.
And no money?
Not one thin dime.
Hardly a professional job. I mean, that's for sure.
And that's it? Nothing else?
No, there was some penny candy and some comic books.
Comic books and candy? Your thief is a child.
Well, you can't be sure of that. I like penny candies and comic books.
Yes, but you wouldn't steal them.
Oh, now, Julia, don't overestimate the man.
Trust me. Mothers know these things.
But who could it be?
It's probably a runaway.
And where would a runaway come from?
Where would they go?
Somewhere warm and dry. Wait. Now, if the thief saw us leave the barber shop to come here, then when he left here, is the fire still on in the barber shop?
Wait a minute.
Let me go. I didn't do anything.
We'll see about that. Let me have them, Julia.
That won't be necessary.
There's stolen goods all over the place.
You didn't steal anything from me now, did you? Not from me.
And what are you doing in here?
Just trying to stay warm.
Well, why aren't you at home?
It's the hooskow for you, kid. Let's get him back to the store and call the police.
I remember you now. You came into the store yesterday with your father. You were going to the fishing derby. What happened?
I got mad at him. He said I had to go fishing even though I didn't want to. So I ran away, just to show him, you know. But then I couldn't find my way back. It was dark and everything seemed closed. No one was around. I got hungry and cold.
Well, we better call the derby organizers and find the boy's father before the poor man worries himself to death. I think that's what any of us would want if our child was missing, don't you, Gate?
You know stealing is wrong, don't you, kid? So tell me, why don't you like fishing? Hmm?
Julia, look who's here.
Good trip, I take it?
5 pounds, 8 ounces.
Holy pickerel!
Now that's a fish.
You should have seen the way it bent Ben's fishing rod. It was amazing.
Did you catch that, Ben?
Yep.
Wow, good for you. Whoa, catching a fish like this, now that is really something. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't I have this mounted for you?
Oh, I couldn't let you do that.
Well, why not? A fish like this should be mounted. I'd be happy to do it. Give me a chance to share in the glory.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Gate. That's very generous.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm starving. How about dinner at the cafe?
No, that's an idea. Julia, what do you say?
Why not?
You two gonna join us?
No.
Sure, why not? No, go on ahead. We still got a lot of cleaning up to do here. What's the matter, little girl? Are you upset because I said I'd mount that fish for Ben? Did that make you jealous or something?
Dad, please.
Well, something's going on. I can always tell.
I feel so naive.
What do you mean?
I mean, until this whole fishing derby nonsense, it never occurred to me that you wished I was a boy. Isn't that silly?
Well, it is silly of you, because I never wished no such thing.
Of course you did. Every man wants a son. You did a really good job of keeping it to yourself until now.
Well, I don't care what every man wants. Never. You hear me? Never. Molly. You're my little girl.
This whole fishing derby business. It seemed so important to you. What was that all about?
It was about fishing.
And that's all?
Of course that's all.
Well, then let's do it.
Do what?
Fish.
You and me?
You and me.
Well, if that don't beat all, why didn't you tell me that you wanted to fish? If you would have just asked me, then none of this would have happened.
Dad, you're impossible.
Me? Why, what did I do?
Go sweep.
One of the things I learned from our fishing trip with Jake and Moses that year was that while it's natural to feel badly about what you've lost in your life, it's much more important to cherish what you still have.
May I have the pleasure of this dance?
After we got back, I decided I would be extra nice to Mom and do things with her, even if they weren't always things I really wanted to do. I believed I was being kind and making up for the fact that there was just the two of us. But now I know that I was just trying to show her how glad I was that she was there.